Happy Halloween! Or at least I'm gonna pretend it's Halloween, even though this is going up in December. So, CardFight Vanguard Shinemon Arc, episode 7 and 8. Bundled these two together as well because they seem to go together pretty well and everything. So, I actually quite like these episodes overall. I liked what they were going for at the very least. There's more right with these episodes than wrong. However, the things that are wrong are pretty big annoyances. And unfortunately, they're things that annoyed me throughout the entire duration of these episodes. And basically, it's the same problem I had in episode 2. They'd set up stuff, and then they'd completely undercut it with jokes. And that's it. It's executed in a slightly different way this time around, and it's done better, but it's still not done great. Basically, these two episodes, are about Shin actually opening the card shop again, which is neat. I really like that. This was something I was wanting to see, the entire arc be more focused around, but it was cool to see it happen in these two episodes nonetheless, and I really hope we see more of it in future. Shin is opening the shop up again for a Halloween event, and that's the plot of the two episodes, basically. Not much else really happens, but that's good. You want a nice slice of lifey sort of arc in there. You want to have characters spending time in the card shop, actually caring about it, putting time and effort into managing it, so that we do care about the conflict of the arc as an audience. When we see the characters having fun and spend time in the card shop, then we can't help ourselves but to care about whose hands it's in. My problem, again, is the undercutting of jokes, basically. So they'll set up a lot of problems in these episodes, and then they'll completely undercut them. So, for example, they make a Valkyrian mascot to try and kind of get more people in the door and stuff for the card shop. Because, hey, if we have a mascot, then, people will want to come to our store, which makes sense. I like that. But they get a Valkyrian costume, like fursuit kind of thing made. On accident, they only wanted a handful of plushies instead, not a costume. And this sets them into some serious debt because they end up breaking it, which means they can't return it for a straight up refund because it's broken. And they also can't afford the suit in general, so they're kind of fucked. And this made me excited. I was like, wow, we're gonna get like an arc where Shin has to figure this stuff out, He needs to, take out a loan or something. He needs to figure out how to properly run the card shop so he can pay back that loan. Now there's some serious stakes because now he has to look after the card shop, and if he doesn't, then he's in debt. That's really cool. And it puts more pressure on him because Asuka can probably just walk in and go, hey, if you accept my offer, if you just give me the card job, I'll just pay off the loan straight up. Like, I don't mind. Which puts even more pressure on the conflict because it means that Shin is all the more tempted to say yes to her. That's really cool. That's not where things go, though. Instead, we undercut this entire dilemma with Tachibana giving a drawing of Valkyrian away to a kid, and the kid's mother, because she's grateful, gives him like a bag of oranges or something, and another person gives him a rose for the oranges, and then it just kind of keeps escalating like that until we get to the point where he has a fully fledged tuna, and then someone is like, hey, I'll buy that tuna for any amount of money you ask, and then Shin just asks for the exact amount of money that they're in debt by, and problem solved. And it's not even really, I get that the joke is like, oh, look at how nonsensical this is. That's funny, right? And I'm like, that's more of a, that's weird, rather than a, haha, yes, that's funny sort of thing, if you know what I mean. Yes, it is weird and nonsensical that people would trade those things so that they can work their way up to getting money they need, completely undercutting the importance, I guess, of him opening the card shop and everything, but to no end, really. I don't know. I feel like if I was writing this, I would have went the route of Shin just takes out a loan at a bank. He manages to convince the bank to let him take out a big enough loan to cover the costs, and then the rest of the arc does focus on him trying to pull off successful events similar to this one so that he can slowly pay off that debt over time. And then Asuka could come in and go, hey, I'll just pay the debt off for you, man. take my offer and that debt will be no more. I'll be the one who has to worry about that debt now, not you. So, I want to team up with me. And that's another problem, because I'm getting the problems out of the way first, by the way. That's another problem I have with this couple of episodes. And I think it's one that they'll actually finally get into in the next episode. But man, the more time progresses, I do not see these characters as villains. Now, don't get me wrong, this is cool. I actually really love, Gonami and Fujinori's, arc throughout these past few episodes. They've been very, very slowly, very, very subtly kind of opening up to Shin and the others over time. When we first meet them, they're very kind of snobby and they kind of hate Shin and the others. But as time progresses, they fairly slowly and fairly subtly start warming up to them, to the point where now they're just going to the card shop just because they feel like it, really. And that was cool. I like that. But the problem with these people not really feeling like villains, because it is a cool thing, because it makes for a more interesting and different series, because these villains stand out because they aren't really evil. However, the more time progresses, the more I don't understand why Shin doesn't just take Esuka's offer. What I think we need is another reason, even if it's a shallow reason, even if it's a really silly one, hell, even if the other reason is just a joke. Even if the reason is just Shin is stubborn. We just need one more reason for why Shin won't take the offer, because it's bothering me the hell out of me that this entire arc would be solved by Shin just going, yeah, sure. Because it doesn't even really feel like much would change anyway. Oh yes, Shin takes Etsuka's money, and now she's technically the one in charge. But we haven't really been shown any proof that she would do anything bad with the card shop once she owns it. Again, she said in episode 2 that she would still let Shin actually manage the shop. She'd just be overviewing it and making sure the stuff that he does is stuff that she likes. So I don't get it. This anime really has a problem with stressing that, I guess. And it's annoying. And I really hope that gets cleared up in the next episode or so, because again, I'm finding it's impeding my enjoyment quite a bit. It's got to that point where it is. At first it didn't so much, because I was like, whatever, they'll address it later. But now we've gone so far into the arc that I'm like, okay guys, it'll be kind of like if in Legion Mate or whatever, Kai got attacked and challenged to a card fight by the Katra Knights, and the Katra Knights kept winning and Kai kept challenging them over and over again. But in episode 2 or so, early on, the Katra Knights reveal that, oh, by the way, we have nothing to do with Aichi going missing. We're just here. But the rest of the arc was Kai still challenging them anyway. That's what it would feel like. It's what are you doing then? Especially since we know, and we know that Shin knows, that Esuka knows Misaki and was trained by Misaki's father. So we know that she can't be that bad a person, right? So I don't know. Hopefully this gets actually explained and explored in future. However, other than that, the rest of this episode is pretty good. The rest of these 2 episodes, pretty good. One other problem, of course, they have a shop tournament for the event and everything, and yeah, they don't show card fights, they just show one. The one they show is admittedly pretty good and does serve a good purpose, but there's one specifically that they tease where Gonami goes up against Rive, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Gonami in the previous episode said, at least Gonami a couple episodes ago said explicitly that she never really loses. The only 2 people she's ever lost against was Shin and Esuka. So I really want to see how she goes against someone like Rive, who's also been told to us to be really, really powerful. So I want to see what happens between those 2. Oh, we don't see it. Okay. Fuck me, am I right? Fuck me. However, the card fight after this, the one we actually get shown between Rive and Mark. Once again, Mark's getting all the card fights this story arc for some reason. I don't get it. I guess someone at Bushiroad just really, really likes Mark. That one was good because, again, it served a purpose, and I like the purpose it served. It was similar to the Mikuru episode in that it took an episode that didn't really do much previously, and actually kind of developed and took an interesting look at them, because in it, Rive says that he doesn't give anyone help unless they explicitly ask for it. He's someone who explicitly believes that unless told otherwise, his friends and his loved ones can just handle whatever problem they have. And he'll only ever intervene if someone tosses their pride to the side and asks for him to help. And this is really interesting because, of course, one, it explains why Rive hasn't really done anything in the story arc so far, but two, more importantly, it helps explain why he didn't mind leaving his son behind. Because, again, in G, Rive leaves his son just straight up and like gives him to Mikuru, I guess. And we know it's for an important mission. We know he's doing important Vanguard related things when he does leave. But this mindset of automatically believing that his loved ones can handle any situation they're put into is probably the same one he thought about Chrono. He was like, oh, Chrono's probably going to face hardships and stuff. But as long as Ibuki keeps an eye on him, then, he should be able to be fine. Which is, again, the kind of mindset that he has towards Shin in this episode. He's like, whatever, Shin's fine, he can handle it. Even if Shin can't. And this time, luckily, it's proven that Shin can, because we get this cool scene where Shin helps out an old woman and has to miss watching the card fight because of it. And it kind of shows how much responsibility he has as a person. And that stuff was really cool. I liked that. And again, back to the good stuff, I really liked all the slice of life stuff. I feel like Vanguard's been missing some of that slice of life element over the past while, and I imagine some people would say these 2 episodes were a little too silly, and that they could probably be crushed into just 1 episode rather than 2, but I liked the slow-paced tone. Again, I kind of wish it went a little slower, just seeing the characters band together, become friends, like, it's only at this point that I've started to feel like Mikuru actually feels like a member of this sort of team that they have. Up until this point, she just kind of felt like she was there out of obligation, but these 2 episodes really made it feel like, no, she's actually friends with these people now, and that's cool. And seeing them just, work together, setting up this card shop. Again, would have loved that if, we had more of that earlier on. I feel like this arc should have focused on this stuff more and this stuff with Etika a little less. Again, that 2nd episode we got, I know I keep harping on it, but that 2nd episode's pretty poor. Could have had something like this replace it instead of Shin actually focusing on setting up the card shop and taking responsibility for it and, that kind of thing. That would have been neat, but oh well. A big problem that did impede my enjoyment though, and I'll bring it up again, is the constant undercutting of jokes, because another example of this too is, whilst I love, and genuinely my favorite part of these 2 episodes, I loved seeing them talk about the business side of things. I loved seeing them go, oh, we need a mascot or something to drive in people. We want a tournament, but we need to make concessions because we don't have enough time to set up a proper tournament. So we'll have it be more of a kind of free-for-all thing. And then they're like, oh, but if it's a free-for-all thing, then how do we count how many wins everyone has? Oh, okay, what if we give them these, cookie things? Which, by the way, those are the exact same cookies that Bushiroad give out at official tournaments, by the way. So that's a really nice touch. But then, they have this little thing with Mikuru where they're like, oh, Mikuru will make the cookies. And the first time she makes them, they taste awful. And you're like, oh, this is a problem. Maybe Tachibana has to step in and, teach her how to make cookies. No, it just turned out she put, laundry powder or something in instead of sugar. Oh, okay. And then she makes actually good cookies immediately after. And you're like, okay, that was easy. What was the point in that then? I guess it was just supposed to be funny. But then Fujinomi comes in, and because his gimmick, I guess, is that he's always really hungry, he ends up eating all the cookies. And they're like, oh no, we ran out of cookies. Those were actually really important. But then they reveal, actually, no, Mikuru made way more cookies than that. We have more. No problem. And it doesn't really amount to anything. And I'm like, well, what was the point in that then? I'm not saying you have to have everything be expanded upon into this big plot line or anything like that. I'm not saying we should have had an entire story arc's worth of Mikuru learning how to make cookies or anything like that. Although, to be fair, a storyline about Mikuru learning how to make cookies probably would be pretty good now that I think about it. That would be fun. But what I am saying is, I guess I don't see what it is that makes these parts funny. Rive takes a bite into the cookie and it tastes bad, and I'm like, okay, fair enough, I guess it tasted bad. And then later on when they run out of cookies, I'm like, whoa, okay, storyline, let's do stuff. Let's have Shin come up with a creative idea to get around that. Maybe we can find a different way of tallying up who's won and who hasn't. No, we just got more. Okay, fuck me, I guess. Like, I don't know, it just feels weird. And I don't know what their obsession with this kind of type of joke telling is. But yeah, anyway, that was episode 7 and 8 of the Shinemon arc. Overall, really liked it. And again, this made me more excited to see more because I love it when CardFight Vanguard goes upon this sort of slice of life stuff. And this is a really good way of doing it because seeing them actually run the card shop is neat. Because especially as a long-term Vanguard fan, we've seen this card shop a lot over the years. Like, this is a card shop that everyone has constantly be playing Vanguard at for the past few years. And so actually taking a peek behind the curtain as to how it's actually ran is really cool. I like seeing the sort of management, the business side of it and everything. I just really hope they actually expand upon that. And again, I'd be fine with just throwing out the Asuka plotline in general if it meant more of this card shop stuff. But I know they won't do that. So yeah, oh well. I guess I'll see you guys later with episode 9 of the Shinemon arc. We're getting through this pretty quickly. And yeah, I'll see you then.